This is the Healthology Experts, where we talk about the art and science of health and longevity. I'm Dr. Traveler, and thank you for joining us. Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you by our Healthology Experts Weight Loss Accelerator Program. It's really 5 components, really quick, we'll go through. It's the contour light, it's a device that pumps energy into the body and helps you to just be healthier and lose inches. It's our peptides, so it's the semaglutide injections. It's the STIQ scan. It's the coaching for diet and exercise, and then coaching for lifestyle. And if you look at those things, it's like something to just make you overall more healthy, make you feel better, something to help you lose the weight that you've been struggling to lose. For many people, that's a challenge. Something to track your results and really track them really well. Something to change your habits, your eating and exercise habits, and then something to change and help you have a better mindset. Okay, so with those 5 things, our Healthology Expert Weight Loss Accelerator Program has been successful for helping so many people, and we hope that if that's a challenge for you, that it can help you as well. So brought to you by that, and enjoy the episode. All right, you guys, hey, welcome back. Excited that you're here today. I have an awesome new guest that I just met again. This is now second time I'll interview someone that I met just a few minutes ago. Right? So today we have here Porter Harris. I feel like the bush is between us here today. Got Porter Harris here. And the reason why I wanted to interview Porter, so I know if for those of you who follow the podcast, you're going to look at Porter and you're going to go, either he's like a 70-year-old that has aged incredibly well, or Dr. Traveler's like he's forgotten who he's interviewing and why, and it'll all make sense, I promise you, okay? So we're going to get to know Porter here in just a minute. But the reason why I talked to Porter, so he called me up. His dad is a patient, comes in, and he is currently finishing up chiropractic school. Going to Parker in Texas, right?
Correct.
Yep. And he called and said, hey, I'm going to be coming into town, want to come check out the office. And I said, that's fine, you can come, but only if I can interview on the podcast, okay? I'm always thinking of some crazy scheme, right? So here, I just actually explained to Porter my plan here. So what I'm thinking is, he's hoping to end up back in St. George. And so this may be interview of 2 or 3, we'll see into the future. But what I'm interested in is the perspective and how his thought process is going to change as he develops as a physician, as a person. So we'll see. Hopefully this podcast goes on for like 20 years and everyone will know all about Porter and how we've tracked him through his health journey. But this is kind of interview number 1, to get to know him. Learn about his philosophies. We'll just kind of shoot the breeze. I told him no pressure. I'll just throw questions at him and we'll see what his thought process is. And so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Does that make sense?
That's good.
Sounds like a plan?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's start learning a little bit about Porter. You're a local guy, right?
I'm a local, so I was born and raised here in St. George. Clear back in 1993. No, I was born and raised here. Played sports. We went to Desert Hills High School. Graduated in 2012. I went to Cedar City at Southern Utah University. Played football there. Met my wife. She was a volleyball player. She's more athletic than I am, so that's what gravitated me there. But anyways, got married. Going to Parker now in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. And children too, right?
2 kids, 2 boys.
2 boys. Okay. And how old are you?
29.
So he's 29. Yeah. He's still in the 20s. So yeah, say he's not in his 70s. He's in his 20s.
For the next 4 or 5 months, I'll be 30.
Almost 30.
Almost 30. 30 in August.
There we go. 30 in August. Okay. And he's being very humble. I know, because if you look, you just have to look up his name. There's a lot to look up. You just look up Porter Harris. There's going to be all sorts of stuff pop up. So when he says, his wife probably is a better athlete than him. I haven't met her, but there's plenty of accolades under his name as well.
I always brag about my wife. She was ranked in the top 5 in liberos in the nation while
That's
she was
awesome.
playing at SEU. So she was a big deal.
Nice.
But
And that's where you guys met at SU.
we did, yeah, met at SEU.
You were the football player, and she was the volleyball player.
She was the volleyball player. Yeah, she's a half Dominican Latina who is a little.
Nice.
She's lovely.
So
She's lovely. I love it.
Those Latin gals, you gotta use. They keep things spicy, right? You
They
gotta
do.
Stay on your toes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I love it.
That's awesome.
She keeps me going.
Cool. Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about what and again, I haven't even talked to Porter about this, but I've talked to his dad a little bit. What got you started into this journey, like chiropractic? When did you say, yeah, chiropractic, that's the way I want to go?
My wife, actually.
Really?
Backing into my wife. Yeah, I growing up in sports, basketball, football, track and field, I mean, there's injuries that occur. I think the first time I went and saw a chiropractor was when I was in high school. Going through the football season, you get banged up a little bit, and went and saw a chiropractor. I still remember it was over on Bluff Street. Can't remember his name. He was an older gentleman, but anyways, yeah, on Bluff Street, that's where it all began. And then went to Cedar City, continued to see a chiropractor as I was, lifting heavy, lifting hard, going through practices and workouts and that kind of stuff. And so saw a chiropractor in Cedar City. Initially was doing pre-med, wanted to go into medicine, and stuff started changing, started thinking about lifestyle, had a child in Cedar City, and my wife suggested chiropractic, and kind of the rest was history.
Whatever your wife suggests, you're like, honey, if that's where you think.
I learned quick. Yeah, whatever the wife wants, the wife gets. So, no, she's awesome. She suggested. I kind of started digging in a little bit on the internet and doing some research, looking at some schools. Initially was headed to Southern California to go into chiropractic school, and the whole COVID thing had just started beginning back in 2020. Dallas, the school I go to, Parker University, was hit by a tornado the year before, and so their school was completely destroyed. And when I had went to apply, their systems were completely down. I got shot all these blank emails from them, and I thought it was kind of strange, but kind of whatever, skipped it. Was going to Southern California, and 3 months before school started, I got a call from them and started talking to them a little bit, and we ended up in Texas, but we love it.
There we go.
Yeah.
No, I Parker, and probably most people that watch this, Parker is not. It's kind of famous amongst, because they have what's called the Parker seminars. Mm-hmm. So I think Parker's probably the most recruited. It's got to be, if it's not the highest.
It's growing.
It's
growing quick, and
pretty popular.
The things they're doing to the campus in Dallas is just incredible. I mean, they've done a lot since the tornado hit. It was kind of their excuse to wipe the slate and bring in a whole bunch of new technology and equipment. And so it's been fun. I've been there during kind of the revamp of Parker. So.
Nice. Yeah, lots of good things happening at Parker that I know of.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And no other details then. That's getting to know you, Porter. That's Porter Harris in a nutshell.
Yeah, I go home to my 2 boys, a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, who are super fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Okay, and I did give him a tiny a text with very little information, but trying to kind of pick his brain about future health. So I did ask him, and I don't know if this is even a fair question. Let's start with this. Age. When you think of age, are you aiming for an age, or are you just whatever happens?
Gosh, I know. I listened to the podcast before, so I know what you said. And I think did you say 121?
I'm shooting for 121.
You said 121?
Now, I know people will laugh and they'll be like, especially my older patients are like, just wait till you get to 80 and then you'll be like, no, I think
I'm ready to go.
But I just say 121 is literal and figurative. Part of that is saying I want to live a full, full life.
Right.
But also, I mean, as long as I feel good, that's really the key, right? So I want to feel good going to 121.
Feel good. So you say 121 because I'm competitive. I'm gonna say 122.
Boom.
Just to give you an answer. No, but like you said before, the most important thing I think is quality. I want to live a full life, and I want to live, to an old age. I want to see grandkids or grandkids if I'm lucky enough. But I just want to enjoy my life. I want to feel good while I'm living for the longest I can.
I like that.
Yeah.
My saying is, I want to die young at an old age.
Right. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the next question then becomes, from what you've learned in because he's in chiropractic school, the school that he's in, and mine was the same way. We had 10 trimesters. Correct. So he just finished trimester 8.
Yes.
And he's got 2 more. So he's on like the tail end. He's learned a lot, got a lot of knowledge stirring around in that brain. So, are there any habits, anything that you've taken from that where you said, okay, for myself and my patients, are there any habits, things that you say, if I want to live to be 122 and outlive Dr. Traveler,
okay,
what are some things that I know that I will need to do on a regular basis to get to that point?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And this is on the fly, so we'll see.
He
said
spot.
This is just, we'll see what pops out.
The biggest thing that comes to my mind is just movement. Being able to move and exercise and get outside and push my body to certain limits. In America, it's everybody's
sedentary with their phones.
Yeah, they're all looking down on their phones. They're driving the car looking down on their phone. I know because I live in Dallas, so I mean, I have an hour commute to school, and everybody's all over the road. Okay. But no, there's just people don't move enough, and I can't stress that enough. Having an athletic background, and that was my life, just being out and moving and running or cutting or doing whatever I need to do. But as you get older, that stuff is not made as available, if that makes sense. And so I think it's just finding ways to move, finding ways to get out, finding ways to stay active, get your heart rate up or whatever you're doing just to move.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd go with, what I like to say is we're use it or lose it creatures, right?
Right.
Like God designed us as if you don't use it, you're going to lose that, including joints and
for sure
brain and all sorts of things that way.
Right, and I think in school that's the biggest thing I've noticed is when we're studying joints and we're studying the spine and everything is if you're not using what you were given, it's going to deteriorate. It's going to you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it.
Okay, I like those thoughts. Okay, so movement is number 1. Is there anything else? What are your thoughts? And you said he's listened to a few podcasts, so we've talked a lot about, or not a lot, but some on like nutrition. Do you have any nutrition thoughts?
Oh, my wife is the nutrition guru.
So we need to bring her. We should have interviewed you.
We should have. Yeah, we should have. No, she does a fantastic job at keeping us eating right and having a balanced diet or whatever it is.
I think what we need, so I know that this is a kind of a longevity and lifestyle, but I think anyone could listen to this. We ought to get her in and say, how do you eat healthy and feed 2 children? Right? Isn't that the trick?
You know what? And she was a school teacher, elementary. She did 3rd and 4th. And she runs a social media account for kids and kids activities, particularly toddlers. Because our kids are so small, but she does a crazy good job at keeping them eating healthy and just eating good food and trying a variety of foods and doing that kind of thing. So yeah, she's awesome. I eat what she makes. Number 1, she's a good cook, and number 2, she keeps me eating good. So I eat what she makes. But when it comes to longevity, you are what you eat. So what you're putting in your body is super important. I think moving makes you want to eat better. The more you get out and move and exercise and find things that you like to do to move your body, the more you're going to want to feed your body what it deserves.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I find that for me that's the truth,
Right.
If you're out there doing a lot of stuff, you want to be able to perform,
right.
Do what you want to do, so you got to be careful. Yep. For the most part, what you're eating. Okay, I like it. All right, what about as far as, So let's go into like maybe treatment. Let's say for patient. Now it's you, and you would probably say the same thing to your patients, right?
Right.
Keep moving. And I know you haven't seen a lot of patients,
Yeah.
right?
Not a lot. Working on it.
that's what he's building up right now.
Yeah.
But that's why I say in a few years when we interview, we'll be like, you can't even get in with Dr. Harris.
Hopefully, that's where we're
too
going.
hard to get into it. But let's say with patients, because again, what we're looking for is into the future.
Right.
We're gonna say, okay, what other things? Let's say like treatment. Right now, for treatments for let's say a 70-year-old patient.
Mm.
So here we go. You got a 70-year-old patient. You were telling me you had one, right?
I do. Yeah, I have one right now.
Okay, so let's talk about like a treatment. What does an adjusting technique look like that you're using? What do you give any exercises? Anything else? And this is the test. His professors can watch this. We'll see.
Here we go, Dr. Lyons. Here we go. With this particular patient and with older individuals, flexion and distraction has been a great thing.
So describe that, because
So
they're
flexion,
not going to know.
yes, for sure. Flexion and distraction. What we have, and I know you have one as well, is a table that will kind of bend up and down. It can move in certain ways to where you're elongating, I guess is a good word, or stretching out.
We call it the mermaid table here.
Right.
That's what a lot of patients, because you feel like you're this swimming mermaid.
Right. You're
Or merman, if
That's
you're a guy.
That's a good way to put it. Now I need to put that one in the toolbox
There you
to
go.
describe that. But and it allows those joints in the spine and the joints in the pelvis and the SI joint, all of that to move. You're inducing movement within those joints. Sometimes you can feel any segments that are misaligned or whatever kind of go back into place. It gives a lot of relief afterwards. I know for my patient, he's on that table for 10 minutes, and I'm moving him. I'm stretching out, the muscles in his back. I'm feeling the segments to make sure everything's moving right, and doing things like that. And so he really enjoys that. I know a lot of older individuals enjoy that as well.
Perfect. Any rehab? Do you give rehab?
I do. I do give a lot of rehab, and I think Parker has actually been very big on getting their rehab in with patients. And so I guess it kind of depends on the way a patient presents.
The day,
with a certain type of exercises or whatever we're aiming as far as rehab goes for those individuals. But like I said, I mean, one of the professors says motion is the lotion.
That's it.
And so
I love it.
as long as we're doing the right things with our patients and getting them to move.
You tell them to say motion is lotion, rest is rust.
Rest.
Throw that second part
there
on.
you go. Look
Yeah.
it, I'm coming. Yeah.
So now who is it? Dr. Lyons?
Dr. Lyons is my she's kind of like my boss.
Got it.
So she's the CFD, the faculty doctor that I work under.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Lyons, you'll have to check that and make sure that he that he said it right. No, I really like that. But I am interested, it's really interesting, and for those who are watching the podcast, and I bet Porter will probably do the same thing, where you'll look back and you'll watch this and you'll go, I was right, but I've evolved some in some places too.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to just see that, because I feel like that's a process that we all need to go through. And I think what we're going to find is everything that you've said, I 100% agree with. But I think you're going to be able to refine it every time.
Right.
And you're going to be like, hey, everything I said is right, plus this and this and this. And,
right.
and we can't say everything on here right now. But so if anybody takes, for those who are watching and those who are listening, I would just say he's actually spot on. I've been really impressed with everything that he said for a young doc. I don't know, he hasn't seemed nervous. He's not nervous at all, because it's just us right here. But your health is a progression, right?
It is.
Like, we should constantly be learning and growing, and right now Porter's in the middle of studying all the time, but pretty soon he's not, and he's gonna have to apply it. But there's like this art of being able to continue to learn and grow, and that's why people are listening to this. And I think podcasts are a great great tool. Books are a great tool, but I think one thing that I'm going to take from this is just continue learning and growing and getting better. And Porter said stuff today that I'm like, yeah, I need to, like, I either didn't know or forgot and need to get back to it, So I just appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you.
Any final words of wisdom?
Final words of wisdom. Yeah, there's one analogy that I love that I actually heard about recently, and I would like to share it.
Yeah.
Somebody said, if I were to offer you $10 million right now with nothing, no questions asked, here's the cash, would you take it? And that individual said, absolutely. Why not? I'm $10 million. That sounds great to me. And that person said, if I were to give you $10 million right now, but told you you're not going to wake up tomorrow, would you take it? And that made that individual think, probably not.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with $10 million in the next 12 hours? And so he said, I want you to wake up tomorrow like it's a $10 million day. And I think I've started trying to have that mentality every day. I wake up, try to treat yourself like you are worth $10 million, because you are. And everybody is, and treat your body right, but at the same time treat those that you're around right as well. So
I love that. Yeah. What I really like about it too, and this is something, so I've never heard that, but what comes to mind is this, that when I've interviewed a lot of these people, there's days where and none of us are actually getting younger, right? And we know that someday we all will have to pass from this life. And so there's a certain aging that happens. And so I don't want to throw out this idea that that we're not going to age. But I do want to throw out that, like you say, $10 million day. I think the key to your health life is to wake up every day and kind of do a self-assessment and say, like right now he's 29. So he can do anything he wants, right? 29.
Almost.
Maybe not the college football days, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
He can't hit like he used to, or take a hit like he used to.
That's the big one, yes.
Yeah, but for the most part, he can do what he wants. As we start getting into our 40s, 50s, 60s, and I've met with these people. I don't like putting any limits on anybody. Like, you can go do whatever you want. But there's days where you wake up and you're like, man, this hurts, that hurts, I'm having, this issue. But to just say, I'm going to maximize what I have today. And live live the $10 million day. Because, yeah, that's really what we've got. None of us are living forever, but I did see, I'm just going to throw this out. Did you see, now it happened way back, but I saw a report, with it being the Boston Marathon, there was a lot of running reports. Did you see a guy just broke the record? He ran a marathon 100 years old.
Ooh, I did not see that.
Yeah, so a guy, I think it was the London Marathon.
Wow.
Or he was from London. I don't remember all the details on it, but 100 years old. Now, I'm not telling everybody to go train for a marathon at 100. That may be what I was like, yeah, that's a goal I can shoot for. We'll see.
You'll be there at 110.
But that's right,
You'll
110.
have 11 years left.
But I am just saying, obviously that guy woke up multiple days in a row, not just that day, and said, I got to make this a $10 million day.
Right.
Let's maximize what I can do. It did take him 8 hours or something. So.
Wow.
But he
awesome.
Made it 100 years old, and it wasn't even official. They said because in order to have it official, you have to be in an age group, and they didn't have an age group 100 plus.
Really?
It didn't exist. So it's this official, unofficial time because they couldn't put him into any of the categories.
They got to start rethinking the system.
Yeah. So I love that, a guy who just blew up the whole thing.
Love it.
Anyway, I love where this has gone. So Porter, I appreciate you. We'll soon be able to say Dr. Traveler and Dr. Harris signing out, but for right now, we'll say this is Dr. Traveler and Porter Harris, and we're signing out.
Awesome.
Okay, see you guys.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for listening today. Hey, if you could please go on, subscribe, make a comment, go on to all the other social media. Go on to Facebook, Instagram, Go on to TikTok, search for Healthology Experts. It really helps us to grow and push this message. And if you gain value from this, then go on and please participate. We try to get to all of the questions or anything that you have, any responses or comments. So go, like, subscribe, do all the stuff that you know helps us. All right, guys, see ya.